Hey everyone, and welcome to Holding the Line with Got Your Six Counseling. I'm Peggy, and this is Brittany. This is a space where we get real about the shit nobody wants to talk about: mental health, life, trauma, healing, and everything in between. Sometimes we get clinical, sometimes we get messy, but it's always honest. Quick reminder, this podcast isn't therapy, and it's not a substitute for professional care. We're not here to provide therapy, diagnose, or treat. If you're struggling with mental health, please reach out to a licensed provider. You don't have to go through it alone. We've got your six. We're just two trauma therapists showing up as humans first, ready to have real, unfiltered conversations about the stuff that matters. We're here to break the stigma, share what we've learned from both sides of the therapy room, and talk about the challenges people face every day, especially in the veteran and first responder communities. Whether it's trauma, burnout, relationships, identity, or just getting through the week, we believe that these conversations matter. They deserve space, and that's what we're holding the line for. So let's dive in. Come back.
Oh yeah, sorry, I was late putting my AirPod in. Welcome back to another episode of Got Your Six Counseling. This is not Got Your Six Counseling. This is Holding the Line. We're starting off with chaos. As most of you know, we've been gone for a hot minute because what the hell, right? We've been moving our office. Peggy was moving into a new house. So it's been a little bit busy, and we decided to take a step back so we could focus on other things, but we're back. And this is episode 7. Moving, what fresh hell is this? Not just moving your office, but all of it.
All of it. I kind of felt it was appropriate to let's discuss moving. Let's discuss PCS season, especially after this little month, this little season of what we all went through, because I don't think this gets discussed enough, especially in the population that we work with. Oh my goodness. Because it's not the cutesy Pinterest version. It's not the fresh start version.
Or
it's
TikTok.
Aesthetic where somebody's labeling matching bins and it's all it's wonderful and it's rainbows and hearts and butterflies.
Although I do love watching the restock videos and stuff like that because that's super satisfying. But real moving, PCSing, or moving your office or whatever, just moving across town, it's a big deal.
Because it's chaos. It's boxes everywhere. It's losing your coffee maker for 3 weeks. And it is death threats.
Trying to remember which box is which and then opening it to find trash. Because why? Why would a mover pick up an empty can and be like, yeah, I'm going to pack this? It's trash, bro.
Yeah. So we'll discuss how this is a clinical discussion, how it's kind of group therapy for us right now, because I think we're all partially traumatized by the experiences we have gone through in the past month. Part public acknowledgement, because relocation stress is genuinely brutal.
Yeah.
Because people minimize moving all the time. It's how exciting. It's a new adventure, and at least
we're so happy for you.
Yeah, it's yay, we get to experience something else. No, it's yay, we have to experience something else.
I'm tired of experiencing something else.
Meanwhile, your nervous system is actively filing for a divorce, maybe literally from your spouse, because you want for the last 3 weeks about anything and everything, because it's all chaos.
Especially if you have to do I don't want to say renovations, right? Because unless your skill set is that, really the only thing most people are doing is painting. Maybe they're going to have some new floors put in, but then it's me and my spouse have to decide on these things. And if you're moving, if you're PCSing, sometimes you don't have a ton of time. So you're just at will, looking for something else, trying to get in as quickly as you can. God forbid you have kids.
Why is moving so stressful?
It ranks high on stress inventories, apparently, because it messes with your routine. It definitely messes with mine. Relationships, finances. Holy shit, finances. And then your community. Say you when I say we PCS from California to North Carolina, all my friends were there. I knew nobody in North Carolina. When I moved to California, that was first of all, a total culture shock. And 2, I didn't know anybody. So it messes with your community, your support system, all of it.
Predictability.
Yeah.
Sleep, nervous system regulation.
Yeah. And if you have some type of chronic pain issue, guess what?
You're shutting down, or you're
You
like,
shut down.
you're waiting to shut down because you're like, okay, I'm not allowed to like have a flare right now, or like you're pushing through pain.
It's survival mode, essentially. Regardless of if you're PCS and you're moving your office or just moving across town. You're in survival mode because you're like, we just have to get this done. We just have to push through. And then you pay for it later.
It's like 1 to 2 months, because it's not like, oh, we're just doing this in a week. And there's different types of PCS moves, we know, because like there's the Diddy, there's the one where the Packer's coming and doing it all for you. And
Done
you're kind
both.
of like, I'll never do a Diddy again in my life.
I never did a Diddy again in my life. We did the one and it was awful. When we were moving this office, and we got, Christina's like, you reserved the U-Haul. The cab, but you're driving. And she's like, okay. And so I had to get in and take pictures. And I said, I don't ever want to be a U-Haul again. So I'm explaining why, because when Sean and I drove to California, we were stuck in a U-Haul with each other for several days, and the air went out halfway through in the middle of summer. And I was like, I have a trauma response inside of a U-Haul. And then when the movers moved our stuff, which is not the Diddy move, I took a bunch of it. So
yeah.
let's explain to the people that are listening what PCS means, because unless you're in this community, you don't know what it means.
I'm going to change.
That's not permanent. It's not permanent.
Permanent change of station. These are done because it depends on which branch you are, or like if you have ranked up, or other branches do that. Like it's branches and different government jobs. So it's like FBI does it.
Yeah.
And certain like law enforcement will move. Like a bunch of people do it in the first responder community. And you can move every 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, or you can be there forever. Certain branches get really lucky with that. And it's like, once you get to the Hampton Roads, hey, you're stuck there forever.
Which is the last place I would want to be stuck forever. I'm not throwing shade on the people who live there. I'm sorry. But out of all the places I wanted to want to be, Hampton Roads ain't one of us.
It really just depends. And so like, I know we have PCS, 7 times now, and it's dealing with the things that come with it, because then we're moving kids, not just ourselves anymore. And it's new houses. Like, okay, we need to go to that location, or we're going to go blind find a house. That's also fun, because like, am I living in the ghetto or not?
That, and like, I know when Tim and I were house hunting, and then like you especially, you can look at a house online and love it. And then you get there and you're like, immediately no. Like, you don't have to go inside. You walk out and there's the yard or like the placement of the neighborhood stuff, and you're like, absolutely not. Next. So when you go into it blind, it's even more stressful, because you're like, is this a bad choice? Am I making the right choice? Right? We did that in California. When we moved to California, I blindly found us an apartment, paid the deposit, and did all that, and never even stepped foot in there.
We did that from Louisiana to Maryland, because like we couldn't drive the 20 hours to get there for a weekend. But Alabama to Lake Charles, we could. And there was nothing there. And we were like, where are we going to live? We're going to be homeless with a toddler.
Also, forget about the, oh my God. Was the already said? Oh, forget about the housing market right now. If you're trying to PCS or move anywhere, you will be like, oh, tell your realtor, I'm going to go look at this house tomorrow. And before the day is over, it's like under contract. Going to luck finding a house.
I think these schools for the kids, like, is this one going to be a good one? Am I willing to live in like a shoebox so that they can go to a new school? Doctors, and especially like for me, we were ESMP, so it's an exceptional family member program. So like we were only allowed to go certain duty stations, and then the amount of doctors that Lucas needed, and every doctor wanted to charge $50 for medical records, and I'm like, there's 10 of y'all.
Yeah,
there's 10 of y'all. I can't do this.
Yeah.
And like, give me the front page and the basic information, and like, let me be on my way.
Can I get a summary of care, please? You hear that with people that like I have a couple people right now that are in the like retired veterans that are in the process of moving to a new place, and it's super stressful for them too because like even though they're no longer active duty, wherever they go, okay, well now I have to reestablish all of my VA care and all that stuff, and that takes months. So I feel like it's stressful for everyone all around. Like moving is not something I wish to do.
Yeah, new
Yeah.
routines, and then the job situation, because like it's new for the spouse, new for, your husband or your spouse, because like they're getting situated with like going to that new unit and trying to figure out what they're doing there. And then a lot of spouses have, and this is, I guess, it's been on the forefront of spouse difficulties with jobs,
Yes.
because like your resume reads, I am a military spouse. I've had
a new job every year.
yeah, new job every year. Like you see 5 different locations. When we got to Lake Charles, I put in over 100 applications. I never got one called because it read military spouse.
Right. So then they don't know if you're going to stay or how long you'll be there. So they don't want to hire you.
Yep.
Even places that will give you preference don't want to hire you.
And I think we are some of the wildest people with like new support systems, because you get somewhere new and you need to find an emergency contact for your kid ASAP for school. And so you're going to your neighbor who you don't know from Adam, and you're like, put you on my emergency contact form in case like something happens to my kid, please and thank you.
Right.
I don't know if you are weird, but we're going to test this out.
I feel like that's part of the reason why we bonded so quickly, because we're military spouses, active duty, and then you retire. But like, it's almost like, okay, I like this person, I'm going to keep them, because it was just like an instant. When you know, regular people that are not spouses or whatever, are just like, I don't know if I trust them. We don't have a choice. We have to trust immediately. Right away.
Everything is new. And once you finally do feel comfortable, you start learning the roads. You no longer need GPS to go find your grocery store. It's time to go somewhere else.
You know how long it takes to figure your way out around a military base? Even though some of them will like Fort Lee or Greg Adams or whatever we're calling it now, is one big square. It's pretty simple. Pendleton was not. It was a labyrinth of back roads, going up and down mountains into the desert and stuff. And I'm like, this is awful. Mm-hmm. I still remember the drama on Bathalon Road. And if you are familiar with Pendleton, you know what I'm talking about. I'm like, damn it, Bathalon. You and your daggone road.
But even like when we moved back here, I'm just now starting to not have to use GPS for years.
North Carolina was not as bad as California. I only PCS, I guess that would be what, 3 times to Peggy's 7. But Peggy's husband's also retired. So they were up moving all the time.
We crave that predictability. The routine tells our brain we're safe, and moving absolutely wrecks this. Because then nothing's where it should be. Sleep schedules are disrupted because then everybody's staying up till midnight trying to pack away things, clean things. Those familiar environments that made us feel comfortable are disappearing, and we got to go try to establish that again.
And I also feel like it's super dysregulating, right? Because it doesn't matter how long you've lived somewhere, right? Like you call a place home, it is your actual home. And then you move to a new place and you're like, right? You're like, I know this is where I live now, but it just doesn't feel like home yet. Every single one of my patients that came in this week, well, last week and this week, have they come in and they're like, in the way they're weirded out, they come to my office and they're like, I just need a minute to take this in. I didn't realize it would be so dysregulating for them, but I guess like that, as we're talking about like the predictability and the safety, like they're like, I felt safer in your other office. I'm like, you're safe in here too, right? We're just.
Well, I mean, like kind of think of it in that context, because like we're in that hyper alert mode, and like we're increasing cortisol, irritability, emotional exhaustion, anxiety, and like our populations and us, like PTSD, anxiety disorders, chronic illness, trauma histories. Like this is all exasperated by this.
And they're
Like,
also weirded out by the way I set everything up. They're like, I'm farther away from the door now. I'm like, it's fine. The door is locked. They can't get in unless they're me.
because they're like, now we, we have to figure out how to calm those triggers down and like just reduce the load again. We set up everything in a way that it felt safe, or giving a false sense of safety even.
Right.
But now it's got to restart the cycle all over again.
Also, decision fatigue is a real thing when you're moving, whether you're moving your house, your office, or whatever, right? You're like, I am so tired of this, which I know Christina was. She's like, I thought I'm making decisions.
Because it's, you question everything. Keep or donate, pack or toss. And which school, utility transfers, which route, where are the birth certificates, where, why does everything keep disappearing? And like everything just starts like, you're crashing, they're crashing. Like, I mean,
everybody's mad at each other.
Like this is how war starts.
Literally. And then because of all of that, your brain's like, everything is uncertain. We don't know what is good or bad or what to trust or what decision to make. So then you get these activated stress responses where we're irritable, we're angry, we're frustrated.
Yeah, everybody's snapping at each other for no reason, and like, nobody can figure out, why are you crying? Why are you mad? What? Stop it, everybody! Everybody needs to time out and go to your corners.
Can we all just sit in the same room and cry together collectively? I told Tim after we moved into our house, I was like, I just want you to understand that I am never moving again. And he's like, seriously, never? And I was like, the only way I will move out of this house is if I move into a house we built. And that is the house we will die in. I am not. We had movers move us last time. I was like, I don't care. I'm not stressing myself out over moving all of this stuff because Tim couldn't get off work. And when you're in your late 30s and 40s, early 40s, here's a piece of information for you guys. Your friend don't want to help you for pizza or beer or going out to dinner. It's not enough, okay? Public service announcement. If you are if Jonathan Taylor Thomas was your heartthrob when you were a teenager, it's time to hire movers to move yourself next time. If you wore the little stickers in the tanning bed, the Playboy bunny or the sun, it's time. Okay, it's time. Don't put that on your friends.
Just because you don't like your first decision, change it later. Change it later. Since my husband decided he didn't like the paint color of the living room and wants to repaint it, and I went, not.
Ironically, the paint on the walls behind you looks like the paint in our waiting room, like the common areas. That's all of this. It's like a really light blue.
So when he's not happy with the living room color, and he's like, I bought 2 gallons of paint. Let's paint this. And I went, you can wait 2 months because what's not happening is it now.
So he didn't like the color you've already painted, so he went and bought more paint. A different color. Josh.
You could do it yourself, sir.
Also, you will get used to that color. I think we should just leave it. This is a perfect example of how dysregulated people get when they move. Yeah, I love this color. Actually, no, now I hate it. Guess what? It's going to stay for a minute.
You've spent 2 weeks solid painting every room in there.
Yes. After Christina and I were done painting here, we were like, never again. If I have to paint again, it'll be too soon. It looks wonderful in here. I'll say that, right? Except for me spilling paint all over the carpet. Stuff happens, okay? That's the other piece to it. Stuff gets broken, stuff gets messed up. It's very much like, oops. And then you're very upset about it, but then you got to move on because you got bigger and more important things. You got to keep going or you're behind, which makes you even more stressed. Where is the reprieve?
When you're in the car driving to the next location.
back and forth. And that's what you were doing. You guys were still technically in the other house, moving into the new one. Every day off you had, like on your every other Fridays, you're like, I'm going to go pay bye.
That's what I was doing. Like every day after work, it's like, okay, we have to go and work on this house and we have to move stuff over to this house. And I was like,
and clean the old house.
I just want it to be done. Because like this is the first weekend where we're done. I've never been so happy.
When you said where are the birth certificates, I learned really early on to put those in a folder, and like I have an accordion file that is in all the front. It says important shit, and everybody has their own file that's got their birth certificate, if they're a kid, a social security card, whatever is important for them. And then I've got like house stuff, insurance, car, whatever, because inadvertently something will happen. And I'm like, where is this at? For the first like 3 years, I knew Tim, we were living together. He had his birth certificate in the side of his car door. I was like, why is it in here? He's like, I don't really know what to do with it. I was like, how about we put it somewhere safe? Just a thought. So I feel like by the time it's over, everyone is like unable to deal with things. Like when you're probably over and you feel like, oh, I can finally relax. You're like even more exhausted than you should be because you've been going so hard for so long. And people are only emotionally capable of so much.
Like things start up beforehand because like there is a period of grief that you're going through because like I'm leaving. I have to leave these people behind. I have to leave the community I made behind. I have to
And your kids are leaving all that behind too, right? They made friends there. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and that's a lot. And it really doesn't, I guess, get enough justice sometimes with that, like how much we have to just keep cutting off so much.
Right.
And it's always like, oh, we're going to stay friends forever. No, some do, some don't. And it's that season and it's okay to treasure that season.
Right. Not that you're a dick about it, right? But like people grow apart when you're not together often or seeing each other all the time. Things shift a little bit. The time change, right? My friend that I left behind in California, she's 3 hours behind us. Talking to her and getting up with her is a nightmare.
This is where kids have been labeled resilient, especially the military child has been kind of footed with that word resilient because of how much they have to get up and move and so much like that. I mean, you hate that word. I understand why they say it. It still sucks.
I acknowledge.
No, it's the horrible flower that they have attached to these children, which is the dandelion. I'm like, that's what weed.
Dandelions are weeds. Also, I have to admit something. I don't know if I've admitted this before, but I didn't know that the yellow dandelion in your yard is the same as the one that you blow. I thought they were two different flowers. Look, I can't know everything, okay?
The official military flower of the military child, the dandelion, because it just...
They can put roots anywhere.
Anywhere. And I'm like, they made them weeds. These poor kids.
I don't mind the word resilient when it comes to kids, especially military kids. Because like you and I both don't, anybody that knows anything about trauma knows that resiliency is like I say a fighting factor, but like a protective factor from PTSD. The more resilient you are, the less likely you are to. But resiliency also comes from your peer support network and the community you have and your family and all that. But that's constantly changing. I always say, people are like, kids are resilient. I'm like, yes, but they're not as resilient as you think. They're watching you to see how you're handling it to model that. But they're really not well as you think they are. Because also some parents don't feel like talking to kids about emotions is important or having them express them is okay. So they just kind of hide it all. And those are the kids you see that sometimes have a hard time making friends with people or whatever. They don't socialize very well because they just shut it out.
Oh my goodness. Because even with these kids, if you're fun, they can experience regressive behavior, anxiety, school difficulties, increased clinginess, especially the littles. because, we think it's so easy to move them when they're little. Sometimes that's the most extreme reactions that we get.
Yeah.
The older ones tend to, they can be a little more detached. For mine, they didn't want to make friends because I'm just going to leave anyways.
Right.
So why become attached to somebody?
Yep. They just keep their head down and keep moving because from their perspective, everything is gone. The room that they had, their friends, their school, like their routine. And if your kid is big on routines and structure, it is so hard to reestablish that. Even if you're doing the same time frame of like, I'm dropping you off at school at the same time, like all this is the same, the way that you're going about it in the house that's unfamiliar to them, in an area that's unfamiliar to them, like the routine might still be there, but it's not the one they were doing before, which messes with everybody, not just your kid. Yeah. Just me switching offices I'm like so thrown off. I'm like, oh, I hate this. I get used to this. I know. But like the timing, I'm still figuring out the timing too. So, and then you don't know where you're going if you PCS somewhere new. So then you have to figure that out also. Yeah. Like you're literally fed through a fire hose, like figure it out.
I don't know about you, but like 9 times out of 10, like the spouse of singles, y'all do it all on your own. God bless you. But like your spouse becomes like the PCS coordinator because like your husband or your partner is still at work doing their job up until like the day that it is time to go.
Do you remember going to the Diddy Move class? That was the most useless time. I'll never get that time of my life back. And I was like, this is really stupid. What are we doing here?
All I know is I got a phone call from my husband. Hey, the movers are going to be here on this date. Okay.
Yeah.
Buy them lunch. Okay.
Got it. And they show up to your apartment or your house or whatever and block your driveway and the whole road with their giant trailer.
Trying to make sure like the child doesn't get out of the house because he was an eloper at the time.
So I was here helping us with, well, he wasn't helping, but he was here one day while Christine and I were here. She went to open the door. She's like, he's not going to run away if I leave this door open. I was like, no. But other kids would. I think Kylie would run away, but Sawyer's not leaving my side. So I was like, no, we're good. He won't go far.
Yeah. And some places, like, you are just ready to leave, or you've learned to accept the place, and then you're like, okay, I'm not so bad.
It's bittersweet, right? Because, like you said when we were talking about this, like, the memories. Like, we've talked a lot about the routines and the safe people, but, like, there's a restaurant in North Carolina that to this day is my favorite place. It's called Carolina Ale House. But because it's a Carolina Ale House, it's only in. I love that place. I love their food. I loved everything about it. Also, the memories there, I already said that. The versions of you that are attached to that place, almost sometimes feel like there's that part of you that's still there, right? Like, there's so much. You can't just forget about it.
Well, because everybody thinks that words get put on us, or the military family, or any of these government families. You chose this. The hell and I did. I was 19 when I got married. I didn't know shit.
Yes, that they chose this, or she's a military spouse. She knew what she was getting into. No, the we didn't, right? We didn't. Unless you're like a military brat and you've seen your mom and your brothers and sisters and what you've been through on your own, you have no idea what you're getting into. And rightfully so, some people aren't cut out for it. It is difficult. It is not easy. But people that don't know, they don't know. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to talk shit and say what they want to say. But at the end of the day, you have no idea what this is like. I'm not trying to throw shade on my cousin, but I remember when her husband was always home. Sean was gone a lot. He went a lot. He went for the initial push and all that stuff in Iraq. So he was back and forth all the time. And her husband was leaving for like 2 days. And I was like, boo-hoo. Husband's gone for 9 months. Get over yourself.
Well, and it's feeling like no place is home.
Right. Until you're there, right? Like, I'm sure now you guys, Josh is retired, you guys are there. You're like, okay, this feels like it's it, right? Like, you guys bought your house, you did everything you wanted.
It does and it doesn't, because it holds twofold for me.
Right.
This is home for my husband. This was a place we were stationed together.
And also living now.
Mm-hmm.
But you have family there, right?
Yeah.
Both of you. Yeah.
Yeah, because I am not from this area, and he is. So like it is taking more time for me to adjust, but it's also taking time for him to adjust because he has been back here in 16 years.
I feel like that. Okay, I'm so glad you brought that up. Because it is so weird. Everything's changed. The people are changed. The roles are different. There's new stuff everywhere. And even if you have family there, you've been living away for however long, doing your own thing, living your own life. And now all of a sudden, you're back. And it's like, oh, we want to go back to where we were. I'm not the same person I was when I left here. You know what I mean? So I'm glad you brought that up because me coming back here was weird, which is probably why Sean decided to stay in North Carolina. Because why? Why am I going to go back there? All my family's here.
Even moving back after you're done is a weird transition.
Wait, because you're from Louisiana.
Yes, I'm from New Orleans.
I felt like I had to say that right. It's not Louisiana. If you're from Louisiana, say it.
I mean, but you think about that too. Whenever you're from a place and you develop that really thick accent,
yeah,
it changes.
Yep. When I went to California, people would make fun of me. They said that I sounded so country. And I've never felt like that was true until I've rewatched some of our podcasts. I was like, damn, I sound like country as hell. That one. Maybe I was more tired. But the other cool thing I've noticed about military spouses, especially, and even some active duty, is that like we'll start picking up on the accent.
Like we
of
just
other people.
Adapt to the environment.
We're chameleons in a good way.
I mean, except for like when your kids are born in another state and they don't adopt, like they adapt that vernacular. And like I was dying when Riley started talking more Maryland, and he was like, "You guys" and stuff like that. And I was like, "Sir, it is y'all," and he was like, "That's not grammatically correct." And I was like,
"Neither is use."
I was like, it is y'all. So like they don't talk like Southerners.
Yes. I believe my dad's from he either lived there, but so was my grandmother in like Baltimore, Maryland area. And we were joking one day about how, like, does he say Monday or Monday? Because my dad and my grandma both never said day at the end of the day. It was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But yeah, your kids pick up on that stuff. And then you move to a new place and they're like, what's he talking about?
Yeah, no, they were dying when we moved back because they're like, they don't speak properly here. I was like, just get used to it. It's okay.
Just adapt.
And they're like, no, thank you.
Like poor Madison was the perfect, even
example.
Though she's not a military spouse, but she was the perfect example. We have a new student. I'm not trying to put her on blast to put her stuff out there, but she moved from Oregon to here. And last week I made a comment about being hot. And if anybody from the South knows what we always say, I said, I'm sweating like a orange. She didn't say a word until this week when we had supervision and I made another comment. She's like, yeah, I don't know what that means. And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, I keep forgetting you're not from here. Everybody that's from the South knows that when you're hot, you're like, you say a couple of things, but sweating like a whore in church is one of them. And I'm not throwing shade on whores either, okay? If you're a woman of the night, I am here for you. I'm no judging. I am not one of those, and I still be sweating in church, so don't feel bad.
So let's discuss why, like, for trauma and relocation, this really gets intense, though.
Well, it activates our survival responses because we don't feel safe anymore. We feel so vulnerable. I know, like, personally, I'm saying. And when people have moved, but nothing feels like home. It's all unfamiliar and weird.
Yeah. Because, like, that, I think the predictability of it all is a big thing because they're so, like, a lot of them are very concrete and, like, this is my routine, this is my structure, and this is what it's supposed to be. I think I can go for not just trauma, but like the spice people, all of it. Like because you need the consistency, you need those routines and everything to like make everything maintain.
And God forbid you're like, I mean, and you can be depressed with a lot of different disorders and anxious too. But like if you're super depressed and super anxious, then there's that, not so much the decision fatigue, but like, oh, I'm sorry, that's rude. Where you're so dysregulated over it.
And like moving removes all of it at once. It's not like it's a slow burn. It's like that.
Well, because you're kind of like preparing until it's like, oh my God, this is it. Right? You're like, oh, we're just preparing. You're like, oh, we're moving next week. And they're like, wow, that's so soon. You're like, not really.
Nothing will, I have seen moving like just increase hypervigilance tenfold.
Yeah. And then if you're depressed or anxious or you have ADHD, you feel bad for not like working nonstop. And like if you're looking at us from the outside, we are taking it in stride, right? Like you wouldn't know we're as stressed out as we are internally, because internally we're screaming. We're like, please let this just be over. And even then when it's over, it's still not over because you're in a new place with new things and new people around you.
It's like even something positive, it feels supposed to be a good thing, feels threatening to your nervous
until
system.
It doesn't. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, even ones that are positive, can still be very traumatizing because it's the moving process. And then like, well, I say moving, like relocation, whether you move into a new house or an apartment, everything that just goes with it, right? Like even when you're like, oh my God, I'm so excited about it, it's still stressful. When you're buying a house, you're excited. But if you've never bought a house, which you have, if you know, you feel me? They want like the blood of your firstborn, fingerprints. It's so ridiculous. Like, what else do you need from me?
Maybe the second child.
Probably all the children and you as well. Actually, I'll just sign it in blood because they're so serious about everything,
Yeah.
Which then also tests your marriage.
Yeah, marriage during the move is spicy.
I don't know if spicy is the right word, but it's close. Hell, it's probably more like it.
Yeah, because like you can have the most golden retriever husband in the world, and you still might want to smother him with a pillow by the end of this.
I also feel like if you don't want to smother your husband with a pillow, are you even married sometimes, I threaten to bury Tim in the backyard all the time. I don't mean I'm going to kill him. I'm just like, I might bury you up to like your chest just to teach you a lesson,
It's like you're painting, you're assembling things, sleep deprived, because like you're just burning at both ends because you're working and doing all of this.
And
someone has packed the coffee maker or other important things, and you're trying to scramble and figure out what to do, and then you are threatening them at 5 a.m. You better go get me coffee now before I slice you. You're trying to coordinate the movers. You're trying to coordinate childcare. You're trying to like figure out where's the dog, where's the cat.
Where's the cat?
The cat. We're going to get into the cat in a minute.
I was like, when is she going to tell that story? When is it going to be appropriate? Because I'm waiting.
Oh, goodness.
Where is the cat, Peggy?
But watch your movers. Watch your movers like a hawk. Because I get it. One is probably at work and there's only one of you to watch your movers, and it's hard to watch the animals. That the cat doesn't accidentally jump into the box, and that the cat is taped up and put on said box, and then you're running around the house going, where's the cat? Where's the cat?
Where is the cat, you say? In the box that the mover's already packed and taped up.
And we had to
That
stop
poor
them.
cat.
We had to stop them like a mile down the road because the cat wasn't well.
Okay, you didn't tell me that they had already packed the box and put it on the truck and started driving when you found the cat. I thought you went like, where's the cat? Oh my God, we hear noise coming from this box.
No, we're both yelling at each other going, where's the cat? Where's the cat? Did you know? Mew.
What? If you're a mover, also keep in mind that cats like boxes. Let's keep an eye on the box. You can buy your cat all of the fancy toys and fun things, and they just want to sit in the box that came in.
Moving amplifies, like if there are existing communication issues, emotional reactivity, mental load imbalance.
Absolutely.
because one partner is becoming like the logistics commander of all of this, and the other one is emotionally overwhelmed and wandering around the house just randomly holding cords going, do we need?
The answer is yes, because you never throw away working cords because you never know when you're going to need them. But then there's also that guilt of like, I haven't used this in a couple of years and I shouldn't throw it away because it's extra stuff. But also, what if I need it?
Because a lot of us come from like the generation of millennials that hoard boxes for everything. The original box that it came in, and I am staring at my husband going, I'm throwing away every single one of these.
Do you know how many Apple boxes I have at my house? I still have the box for my computer I'm using, and I've had this computer for like, 2 years now? I still have my iPad box, my phone box, the box my pencil came in. Like, I will never need this. But somehow we're like, because our parents were like, keep the box in case it messes up.
But we need I was like, we do not need every single original box that we own. So I was throwing things away behind his back.
That's hoarding behavior. It's the same. He'll like empty a jar of something and he's like, do you want to keep this jar? I'm like, no, I don't want to. He's like, you can put plants in here. And I'm like, don't do that. Throw it out. Because my mom also used to put food leftovers in like butter containers. She didn't know which one was actually butter, which one wasn't. Yeah, some hoarding stuff right there. Throw it away.
And
Throw it out.
the identity crisis with moves, it sucks. What am I going to do now? Where am I going to go now? How am I going to fit in? Oof.
Yep.
Am I going to make friends this next month?
And right. And depending on where you move to, like, say both of you are active duty, or maybe one retired and one stayed active duty. Well, now we got a role shift going on. Because you got one retired parent, maybe that's the dad and the mom's still active duty, or vice versa, where they were kind of healing it together. And now you're retired. So that shifts a whole lot.
Yeah.
First responders, all that too, right? Like maybe they're just like, yeah, I'm done, or I'm not going to find a job till whenever. We're talking about an identity crisis for a little shift indeed. And it not feeling like home for a really long time. By the time it does start to feel like home, guess what? Boom, it's time to move again. Surprise.
It's such a hard cycle just to keep repeating over and over again. And they wonder why they're exhausted by near 20 and be like, yep, I'm done with this.
Exhausted, their body's broken. Everything's falling apart.
Why a spouse is like, you know what, Geobatch sounds great. And it sucks for them when they're like, I'm done moving and I just want to stay put.
Well, because at that point, it becomes more for your kids than for you, right? Because at some point, like, they can't take it anymore. And like moving one more time just feels like way too much.
We do, people. Let's lower the standard.
Yes. Paper plates, laundry mountains, they're not going anywhere. Just wait it out. Yes.
It's not about perfection. It's just like, it's a short period of time.
I'm just kidding. Don't listen to me. Keep one place that's safe for you.
Yeah.
Like, some of the recommendations was like, you're like having your bed made, right? Like even if your house is in shambles, if your bed's put together and it's made, that feels safe. That feels grounding.
Even if it's just an air mattress too. Because I know we're all surviving on the air mattress for 3 weeks because it's going to take 2 months to get our household goods.
We did our Diddy move to California. Sean and I slept on the floor for 2 nights until we had everything, because we didn't have anybody to help us. We were moving everything in on our own. So we just laid a bunch of blankets out on the floor and just slept in the living room until we had everything inside. But I just feel like every time I've moved, the bed's the first thing I put together because I'm like, I want to sleep in the bed.
Make sure your kids have familiar items.
Blankets, toys, whatever.
Like, don't pack away their favorite blanket and expect them to be emotionally regulated humans.
Don't pack away my favorite blanket and expect me to be emotionally regulated. All of my kids are blanket fiends, okay? Like, my closet is so full of blankets. I'm like, I don't know which one's their favorite. I guess I'll just grab one.
Yeah.
Also, expect the emotional
whiplash.
Drama. You say whiplash, I say drama. Yeah. It's all the same. Prioritize sleep. Oh my God. Turn off your phone, put it on focus mode, do not disturb, and go to sleep. which I have been doing as of late. At 8 o'clock, my phone goes on, do not disturb, and I'm out. Oh,
Don't interpret temporary stress as a permanent failure.
yes, your nervous system is overloaded. You're not a failure. You're not falling apart. They're very different things, right? Just because you made a mistake or broke something or whatever. Still bait all over the floor.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, but rebuild your routine. When you get
Yeah.
to that next place, rebuild that, because like we are used to like the grind when it comes to this. And I guess this is where the adaptability comes into play.
Yes. Yes.
You know, find what works for you again. But in a
Making friends, indeed, is like I said that earlier, is number one. Also, don't be like me and Peggy and trust the neighbor with your kid.
But sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
We're also really good judges of character, too. So we're like, you're kind of sketchy. Never mind. Stay away from me. It's like, no, she's also a mom. Over here, waving the flag. Felt, please.
The really painful moment, but like, look, it's okay to laugh at the stupid shit that happens in moves. Like, we understand the important document box goes missing and like you're searching for 6 hours for it because like your husband put it somewhere that you didn't think to look because, you know, he's helping with.
You're not helping, bro.
Finding Christmas decorations, but somehow the underwear has disappeared.
Surviving entirely on pizza and McDonald's and fast food because you don't know where your pots and pans or dishes are. Whatever. You just don't have the spoons to cook. So it's like, okay. Especially if you're waiting for them to bring you your stuff. You don't have anything.
Phone charger like every freaking hour because like you're moving from room to room because you're like packing and you're cleaning and I thought I was losing my mind. Thought I was losing.
You were slightly just losing it. I remember when you were like, we have to move out. We have to move into a new house. We have to buy a house in X amount of days. She's like, I am not going to be fun to be around. I was like, good Lord.
The packers moved literal, like they packed away trash. You open a box and there's the bathroom trash.
Literally the trash can with the trash in it, in the bag, in the box, sir.
What you're thinking.
They're not. They're like on autopilot, just putting stuff in the box wherever they see it, right? They're just like, but that's how a man would pack. I didn't want to throw shade on the men's, but I have to.
Yeah. Or opening, like, when they label stuff wrong and, like, it's for the bathroom and you find, like, freaking kitchen utensils.
Emotional damage.
I'm going to lose my stuff if, like, something's labeled wrong one more time. Or I don't know about anybody else, but, like, I had the collection of all the moving stickers for a long time because I was like, how many can I put on this piece of furniture? There's at one point.
Yeah.
They've done just one piece of furniture.
And then you find out that all of the colors don't actually mean anything because nobody's communicating with each other about what they're packing. I just get a big old Sharpie. I'm like, pack the box, close it up right on the top.
Things are going to mess up.
Get broken.
Go missing.
Yeah, that too. Like my drill. I am never letting that go.
Stolen tools. Josh had a whole bunch go missing, and I've never seen a grown man probably want to cry my life like that over tools. That was so sad.
Mine was just a little baby drill, and to this day, we cannot figure out where it went. I didn't take it home. She didn't take it home. It was left here, and then it was gone. I'm like, somebody stole my drill.
For those things. Things are gonna happen.
Yeah.
This is
gotta give yourself grace.
Yeah, this is never one of those like smooth things. If it is smooth, I wonder what's gonna happen later. Because like
you're waiting for the shoe to drop.
Yeah, like that's not how this goes.
No, you're like, no, I've been here before. Because that's also part of that trauma response, right? Your body's like, wow, we're doing this again. We're gonna rebel and just push back because what the heck is this? What fresh hell is it? Why are we doing this again? No thanks. I moved twice when I was a kid. I've moved like a million times as a grown up. I'm like, I am so done with this. I'm all done. But the important things we want to remember that is that you're not failing because it's hard or you're freaking out or you're all of a sudden having panic attacks again, right? Like maybe go talk to somebody about some of that. But also, like, that's your body just reacting to what you're going through physically in your outside world.
To know that these are pretty normal responses and that it's okay. Try not to kill your spouse. If we do, like, phone a friend.
Don't tie your children to trees or banisters. Get a babysitter if you can.
Exactly. So, welcome to PCS season. I know that this summer is going to be a wild ride for everybody. May your coffee be burned currently and your important paperwork survive the journey.
And better yet, just bring them with you. Don't let the movers move that. May the odds be ever in your favor. Thanks for listening. Please like and share and follow and all the things. And we will see you on the next one.
We want to thank you for tuning into this episode of Holding the Line with Got Your Six, where we are just a bunch of therapists who talk about the shit nobody wants to talk about. We hope you got something useful out of it. Stay tuned for more of our upcoming episodes every other week posted to our YouTube channel, Holding the Line GYS. If you want to help support our podcast, please like this video and subscribe to our channel and share this video with others you think may get something useful out of it. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, where we will post useful information, dark humor, and more of the shit nobody wants to talk about. Go forth and do magical shit, everyone.
Never want to move again in my life.
Neither. I will build a house at some point and I will move there, and that is where I will die. I do not want to move again. I'm so tired of moving.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing this ever
I don't know
again.
that it's the moving. It's not even like the moving so much as it is like the unpacking. Like the before and after, like the packing before and then the unpacking after. I got to a point, I don't know about you, where I was like, I can't look at boxes for a week. I would literally just go hard for like 3 days with zero sleep, packing stuff, unpacking stuff.
I see another paintbrush, I will chunk it at Josh's head.
Well, good, I not to get you through your birthday.
Like,
I'll
will
send you the
throw
whole
it.
spread. I'm going to send you a Dexter spread of paintbrushes, all different sizes.
Yeah, because I will throw that at his head right now. I want to paint this another color. No, you do it.
But you can
yourself,
paint
homie.
it. Yeah, you can paint it yourself. Because you did all the painting, right?
No, it's like I finally got my office settled into a way that I like it. And I'm like, it's so nice.
And you find out real quick who's good at what. Like, it turns out I'm not very good at edging.
Oh no, I had to do all the edging, and then I felt like I was just butt scooting across the floor.
Well, Christina was just, she's like, what? We don't have a rolling chair here? She goes, at the other office, I would just sit and roll down the wall and like paint the walls. Like, that's efficient. But she's like scooting across the floor with the ladder, scoot, scoot, scoot for the top.
Yes, and it hurts your back, especially when you're like booty scooping.
You have, I feel like until you've painted like we have in the last month, I say we as in you, me, and Christina, you don't realize how much painting, like how many muscles you actually use to do that. I was like, why does it hurt in this weird spot in the center of my back? It's never hurt there before.
Like my butt physically hurt. I was like, what is
Yes. Because you were sitting on the floor.
So,
You just kind of
Yeah.
stop caring at some point. You're like, whatever. We're just going to get through this and be done after.
yeah, absolutely. Never again.
Inadvertently, you will probably be moving again. So will I. So we need to keep telling ourselves that lie.
Good with the lie.
Okay, we'll sit with the lie then. I'm not lying to myself. I'll move if I can build a house, but that's not going to be for a long time. I want the kids out before that happens. Well, Sawyer will probably always be with us, but the rest of them can go.